What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, something has been kind of floating around my head, and I figured I would just get it out here in video for you guys about the value of Chaos Legion. So, obviously, we're all lamenting the fact that Chaos Legion pack value and card value has dropped so dramatically. And again, that's not just the Chaos Legion core set. You can include rewards in that. You can include maybe even some of the promo cards, and of course, Rift Watchers as a part of that. Although Rift Watchers is still doing quite well, although we're still seeing sales. But I guess what I'm trying to get at here is, we're looking at this and saying, oh my gosh, everything is just so bad because look at how the state of the game because the cards and their value are just falling so dramatically. But I would argue that the value that you're seeing right now is the true value and has always been the true value of these Chaos Legion cards, and just goes to show how much they're oversupplied for us. Because at this point in time, what are people doing? They're buying Rebellion packs, right? They have finally been given something that is worth buying. And so all of these cards that they've been holding on to, right? Cards that were not listed on the market and therefore not trying to undercut each other and drive the price down organically, or at least over that time frame, that wasn't happening because we knew that there were no buyers for it. But now that there is something to buy, right? And we all thought that maybe it was going to be land first, but obviously Rebellion came along and they kind of accomplished the same similar goals in this, at least for the context of this video. What we're seeing is the true value of Chaos Legion. So, I think it's easy to think back and be like, oh, 3 months ago, it's just been massive sell-offs from a bunch of whales. Yes, some people have definitely exited, but I don't think anybody's exited to the point where they're going to move the entire market the way that they did. All we really saw was what happens when, the wave washes back and we see what the true value of these underlying assets are. And the true value is what somebody is willing to pay for it, what somebody's willing to pay and what somebody's willing to sell it for. So for the longest time, people have been sitting on Chaos Legion cards. They've been sitting on reward cards. They've even been sitting on some of these Rift Watcher cards. And they decided that they were just going to sit on it because it was not worthwhile to sell. There was nothing to buy. They didn't need the extra capital. But as soon as Rebellion gets announced, we see a massive wave of selling because all of a sudden people are just like, well, you know what? I wasn't going to sell my, my Core Lurker even, right? Or my Aggro Longtail. Well, actually here, Core Lurker, perfect example, right? I wasn't going to sell my Core Lurker for $15 when there was no reason to. Other people were selling this for 20, 22, whatever it is. But now that there's Rebellion and I have too many Core Lurkers, I'm willing to sell mine for $15.82. And again, this goes all the way from the top of legendary cards all the way down to the bottom, right? With Chaos Legion and Chaos Legion reward commons. So the biggest factor for this is the amount of cards that have been burned for DEC, because all of these cards, right? All of these cards, common cards, or even just reward cards that are oversupplied, there's no buyers for them. So the price can't even go any lower without it being no longer a viable option to sell below the burn value. People would rather just burn the cards in order to take advantage of obviously the DEC spike, but then to acquire DEC, get some kind of value for those cards because there's no buyer out there. So at the end of the day, I think it's, obviously it's tough to see card values drop down even further, but you might look at this in cope and that's totally fine. Again, I don't think about card values or my own collection value. I've said that many times, but the way that I'm viewing it, again, just purely objectively, is this is the true value. It's just we didn't see it because there were so many speculators in the space, meaning all of us. And when I say speculators, it's we all collectively decided to just hold on to the cards rather than dumping them on the market until there was something worthwhile to dump on the market for. So had Rebellion not come out or Land not come out until sometime next year, the card values would have just stayed because it's not worth it to keep on listing and try to lower if there's no buyers there, right? You don't find that equilibrium in the marketplace and there's no new players coming in. But now we're starting to get the true values of a lot of these cards. And once again, it just proves something that we already know. There's way too many cards out there. Chaos Legion printed too many, the rewards, the core set, even Rift Watchers to a certain extent. You can see that from the amount that are getting burned right now. So ultimately, I'm not too worried about card value preservation. I know it sucks, and I'm not trying to be insensitive to people who are down big, because obviously I'm down big too, right? So I'm not trying to be insensitive to that. All I'm saying is that if you look at it objectively speaking, I'm actually being quite optimistic. This is the true value. It's just we didn't see that because there was no reason for us to see it. And now that there's something worthwhile to go for, people are going to get rid of all their extra stuff. They'll take whatever they can get for it so that they can jump on the new. Now, would a better situation have been for people to bring in new capital? Yeah, absolutely. But why would you bring in new capital when you're sitting on a glut of extra cards, right? So much so that you might just start burning them for DEC to buy the new stuff because there's no buyers out there. So, Chaos Legion, I call it the lost set. Again, that's me probably being a little dramatic. To me, at this point, it's probably the land set. So we'll see how much of land it can, or how much land can absorb of it overall. But ultimately, I don't take this as like a truly, purely negative sign. If you speculated on cards, and I'll be honest, I did try to trade on a couple cards, and now I'm down on those too, right? So, and again, as somebody who says I don't consider cards investments, there were times, right, when I bought some cards and I'm down now, right? So again, I'm only human. My whole thing is like, and I know I'm gonna get roasted on this, so that's why I'm trying to clarify, right? I'll take some bets here and there. I don't base my entire investment strategy on cards, because to me it's an inflationary asset class, and at the end of the day I'm not going to throw tons of capital in there. But I was trying to trade a couple of things, especially if it was just like just to fill in the boredom over the past 6 months, and now I'm down just like everybody else. But I'm not too worried about it. We're getting to the true value, and the hope is that if Rebellion and a bull market and just everything that the team is focused on bringing, and land, sorry, I should say, can help us to recover the game economy over the next 12 months, I do think it could bring in a lot of people, right? A lot of people who will want to play with Chaos Legion cards, or a lot of people who want to play land and therefore soak up Chaos Legion cards off the marketplace. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Does this make sense? Am I coming across the right way? Again, I'm trying to frame this in a positive way, not as cope, but just like objectively speaking, we're seeing the true value now. It was never that high to begin with, even though it made us feel good. It was never that high, because your value is only what somebody's willing to pay for it. And I know people who've been trying to sell for months and have not been able to move cards. So now we see what people are willing to pay. Now we see what people are willing to sell for, and we're getting to the true value. And where it goes from there, I have no idea, but I am optimistic, and I'm not too worried about this massive sell-off that has been happening. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.